Welcome, His Majesty. It's an honor to have you today, and we're certainly glad that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to sit and chat a little bit. Today, we're facing a global pandemic. A lot of things are happening around the world, and of course, there's a great need for leadership. I know that you have been a mentor to leaders for many years now, and I'm pretty sure a lot of leaders wanted to know, how do you encourage creative thinking within your organization?
Well, I like the way you put it, creative thinking. Everybody thinks, but not everyone is creative. And in times like this, we have to be able to be uh, on our feet by being adaptable. If you're not adaptable or flexible, when sudden change comes, you will be lost. And this is what we always have to do. I mean, if you are just, I'll give you an example. If you're a boxer and you go to the gym, you do more than just hitting the bag, punching bag. At times, they give you live person who actually not only give you or help you to build stamina, but also one that will punch you to prepare you for the very game that you may be engaged in, so that you don't do shadow boxing only and you just don't hit back, you don't punch bags, but you have human beings. You protect yourself though, but you have human beings that will let you feel, because the one that is there is helping you realize that when you get into the ring, you'll be meeting or facing an opponent. They find somebody who is equally stronger and also somebody who have equal style or tactics to the one you're going to be fighting. That's the way it is in life. We always have to realize that for every opportunity or privilege, we should be prepared for opposition or challenge. If you are not prepared for opposition or challenge, when you are faced with one, you'll be lost.
Yes.
So, being creative is a necessity. We have to be creative. In other words, we have to constantly reinvent ourselves, constantly working on or improving on our game or whatever we know to do, we improve upon it,
Yes.
because you realize that the world is changing. You can't solve new problems with old methods. It doesn't work.
Yes.
So you have to reinvent yourself or keep your mind thinking and process. That's why people have to read. People also have to uh, connect with people who are progressive or people who are going somewhere and learn from people's experiences. Take wisdom out of people's experiences and also make sure, make sure in all you do, make sure that you tell yourself you don't know everything.
You talked about flexibility, and I think that's a very important word today, especially in these changing times. What role do you think strategic thinking? What role does strategic thinking play in today's leadership? When you think about the challenges we're facing today, and I think that a lot of leaders are rethinking the strategies of yesterday, and they've come to realize that perhaps those strategies are not as effective today because times are changing and we're living in very fluid times. So, with these fluid times we're in and all of the changes, how do you, or let's pose the question this way, what would you say to leaders in terms of how they should generate strategic ideas? Because ideas are sometimes hard to come by, and especially now, where we're facing a situation in life where we really don't know what to do. This is our first time leading through a pandemic. So how can we as leaders be strategic in our approach to leadership in life?
Now, I would, before I talk about strategic approach to life, I'll come back and deal with innovation again. I mean, any person who is innovative is a person who puts new things together. And anyone who is strategic is a person who plans and also comes up with solutions. I mean, we have to be strategic in everything that we do. I have always said that, and this is what I practice. I do everything intentionally, with intention. I do everything purposefully, intentionally, and also consistently. If there is no purpose, then there will be no reason for me to do anything. But if I find out that this is something that ought to be done, I'll find out what is the purpose of this. Then is this something I'm going to show interest and do it consistently? So I do things purposefully, consistently, and intentionally. We have to be intentional in whatever we do. Yes. You see, if you have a product, I don't care how great the product is. If you have wisdom, I don't care how good the wisdom is. If you don't put your wisdom in place where it will be needed, then your wisdom is to yourself. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's why we test everything. I mean, any product that is done, if it's going to go out to the market, you have to test it. Yes. I mean, you test it. I mean, to make sure that the first test, second test, and third test is good to go out. With this pandemic, for example, we are looking at scientists to come up with invention. And I think we were a little bit late because we didn't plan ahead of time. We are trying to play catch up. And this is where the problem comes. We have to be strategic thinkers. There are so many things that we've dismantled. And now that we've dismantled these things, it's coming back to bite us. There are so many people who are uninsured. But it's becoming reality. Not those who are uninsured that are affected. People who are insured, who are losing their jobs and cannot afford. So we realize that at certain times, we don't put strategy into this. We make everything political. And if you make things political without thinking beyond our base, then we will not be strategic in what we do. We have to be strategic. Our approaches have to be strategic. We have to be innovative as well. Now we are waiting for innovation. And the innovations that are out are now being tested. So our politicians are now supposed to come up with strategy, how to literally remove the lockdown and how we can get back into society. We have to be strategic. If you have a business and your business is being affected, if you don't do anything to build your business up or to keep your business going or come up with a new idea out of your business, then you are going to be left behind. Mm-hmm. We have to be strategic in everything we do. And a true leader is strategic. A true leader is strategic. I mean, if you want to achieve an aim or a goal, first you have to sit down and consider what you are about to do. Yes. You have to ask yourself, what are the plans I have in place? And what are the things I'll do to move my vision or plan forward? Mm-hmm. If we are not strategic in thinking, then we do things by happenstance. Yes. And that's where the problem comes. Innovation is key for every leader. Strategic thinking is key for every leader. I strategize everything I do. Meeting people, doing the things that I do, I have plans in place. Yes. So if this thing doesn't work and it fails, what will be the next stage? What happens if our buildings are no longer taking people in, churches are no longer taking members in, companies are no longer, restaurants are no longer? What will you do? Yes. You have to do something. You have to do something unless you have extra talents and gifts and abilities where you like to leave this to move to something else. But if this is all you have, then you have to make something out of it. Make Kool-Aid out of a lemon. Mm. Yes, sir. You can use lemon for vitamin C. And you can use lemon with sugar or lemon with honey for refreshment. So you have to be innovative. Yes, sir. I mean, there are so many, for example, if you're a chef and you have to throw food away every day at the end of the day, you can be strategic enough to say, hey, the food that I'm throwing away can best serve some people. There are mothers, housewives, who will say, listen, this is leftovers. Instead of throwing this away, I can mix them, mash them, and create another meal out of it. Mm. We have to be creative. We have to be creative. I mean, if you only have one pants, and the season has changed, and it's very hot, and you need a short, and you have no money to afford, you can cut the pants, have innovation, create it. So we have to find ways and means to put things together as leaders.
Yes, sir.
And we need strategic thinking in everything we do.
Awesome. What would you say? I know the time is winding up, but what would you say in terms of for a leader who is dealing with this crisis, trying to find the inspiration to, forge ahead with so many negative things that are happening around them, with business collapsing, people losing jobs. Seem like the window of opportunity for a lot of people are closing. What would you say to that leader who's discouraged, and to that leader who feels as if, they've given their sweat and blood and tears, whether it be to business, to ministry, to enterprise, what have you, and now they see their profits drying up. They see, their churches are struggling to pay bills and to forge ahead, because these are hard times, and for a lot of people, and there's a lot of leaders that are discouraged. What do you say to those discouraged leaders who feel like giving up on their dreams, feel like giving up on the ideals that they have on the inside of them? How do you encourage them? What do you say to them?
My encouragement to a leader is that welcome to the world of discouragement. Discouragement, if you take this out of the place, you get courage. Discouragement will always come when you face unexpected challenge. In fact, frustrations can set in when you don't see your way out, or you feel like you're going nowhere. I would say to you that I use every opposition as a setup for new positioning.
Wow. Say that again.
I use every opposition as a setup for new positioning. Whenever there's friction, it means that I'm being challenged to come up with new strength. If you are going against the current, you build more stamina. You have to do something, not that ease, because anything that is ease doesn't take much energy. But if you are able to use your energy to go against the current, it means that there is something in you that is also resisting what is resisting you. Wow. You see, when you go through frustration, for example, it depends on how you manage it. Situations happened, but it is the way you respond to it, your action. I mean, you can take something that may be so devastating, that was supposed to crush you, and you may even cry for a moment, but think and process it and ask yourself, okay, this has happened. Am I going to sit here, or I should do something about it? Frustration for me is opportunity to take action. Wow. Because frustration is a gift from God. Yes. If you don't get frustrated, you will not change. You have to get to the place or the point where you say, listen, I've had enough of this. I've wept all night, but weeping may endure just for the night. Yes. I think a day is breaking, and I should look for a new day. And I'm going to look up for the brighter side. Oppositions come, difficulties come, discouragements come. It's normal. It's normal. It will always come as a leader. I mean, there are certain times you can even question and doubt your own ability to overcome an obstacle. It is normal. It's normal. Because if you are not doing something of significance, you will never feel the way you feel. Because you do something significant, the opposition is trying to force you to see yourself insignificant. So you have to maintain you have to maintain these thoughts that, you know what, this is how I set out, this is what I set out to do. This is my opposition. But I will not let this opposition become my final reality. Yes. I'll do something different. I'm going to just pick myself up. Discouragement comes. I mean, we get discouraged. You can look at your checkbook, you get discouraged. You'll be without a job. Your church is suffering. Families struggling, things are not what's supposed to be. If you don't know how to channel your experience or channel your challenges, you can be very angry, very explosive, very negative, and you can take it on people. Yes. A true leader, when you are going through these things, what you have to deal with is try to isolate your experience so that you don't project your experience on the people you love the most. If not, you will take your anger, your frustration, your disappointment on people who have nothing to do with the experience. So you have to learn to compartmentalize things, that I place this here, I place this here, I place this here. I learned how to put my business on the side, put my family on the other side, put my relationship with God on the other side, with family, so that I won't take something out of here which has nothing to do with these areas and take it this way.
Wow.
Some people take that little frustration to extreme. They don't deal with it in isolation. They expose it to other areas. If you're going to expose what you feel inside to other areas, expose your happiness and your joy, and also your confidence, so it will touch the other areas. But if you expose the negative, it will affect the rest. It's just like looking at the cup. Is it half full or half empty? Definitely it's half, it may be empty. If you pour the water in, it will start from the bottom. It will get to quarter. But when it reaches half, at least you can be confident. And for me, when I get up and I can breathe, I consider it half. So I can choose to be bitter or choose to be better. Mm-hmm. Because my mind has been trained. I've trained myself to believe that it won't get worse than this. No matter what, no matter the experience, there's something better at the end. So I always channel my disappointments, or channel my my frustrations, or channel my discouragement to look at the bright side, courage. And I'll say one more thing. Do you know that when you meet people and you relate to people, when you walk away from them, if your conversation is good and healthy, you get excited. If it's negative, it can suppress or oppress you. So what I do is, when the persons I meet don't actually add to my joy and happiness, I take it as they're having a bad day. So I wouldn't let their experience ruin my day. That's what I learned to do. If you think negative, whenever you're in any situation, your mind will be exposed to the negative. So you are looking for the negative. But if you think positive, wherever you are and whatever you're going through, you look to find a positive out of your experience. Discouragement will come, but it's how you overcome it and how you train yourself to see and to believe that your present challenge is a temporal obstacle.
Yeah, that's good. Well, His Majesty, I thank you so much for your time today, and certainly appreciate the nuggets of wisdom that I've received, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's watching this video has received. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today.
Thank you so much. You're a great man, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for this moment, and I believe we can have more of this, because if we can share like this and benefit as many people, I think it would have its meaning. So I'm grateful for this time.
Thank you again.
Thank you kindly. Thank you very much for watching, and on behalf of Life International, we wish you God's very best. It is our hope, our prayer, and desire to inspire you regularly and make sure that you succeed in every area of your life. We would like to give you an opportunity to contribute to Life International so that our broadcast can reach many more around the world. Continue watching, share us, and mention us to all of your friends. Thank you so much, and God bless you.